So that Thursday, that morning, everybody goes to work, Jordan, the defendant, and Tim. They come home that evening, they all have dinner together. They end up watching a movie, the three of them. Around 9:30, the defendant and Tim go to bed, and Jordan goes in her room. Sometime that evening of the 23rd, the defendant secretly overdoses Tim with diphenhydramine. Diphenhydramine is in medicines like Tylenol PM and Benadryl. Diphenhydramine is the ingredient that makes you tired in those medicines. Now, a normal dose of diphenhydramine, if you tested somebody's blood, would be 55 nanograms per milliliter. When they tested Tim's blood after he died, his level of diphenhydramine was 2,000 nanograms per milliliter. Tim was probably not even awake when the attack began, but he certainly couldn't fight back. The defendant beat him. He had a black eye. Tim had bruising on his face. He had cuts and swelling. And then the defendant put that ligature over Tim's neck. And he squeezed it so tight and for so long that he broke Tim's neck. And you will hear that the type of injury is called a hyperextension type of injury, which means Tim's neck was bent backwards this way until it broke.
There she goes, just a walking down the street, singing do-a-diddy-diddy-dum-diddy-do. She looks good, she looks fine, she looks good, looks fine, baby's gonna blow your mind.
If there's one word that best describes the most recent season of Timothy Floyd's life, it's transformation. After years of struggling with obesity and alcohol addiction, Timothy made a decision to change the direction of his life. Over time, he lost a significant amount of weight, joined Alcoholics Anonymous, and remained sober for nearly 3 years. But his transformation didn't stop with him. Friends say he poured that same energy into others.
It's a C chord, a double C chord. The hammer struck the chords. I'm but an instrument, designed by my master, my higher power, God, however known to you and to me. I'm grateful today that I can be that instrument. Going a little bit further with an actual hammer, it can actually be a tool of construction, or it can be used as a tool of destruction. In the master carpenter's hand, it is a tool of destruction that builds up. It can be used to take away, to tear down, to destruct. And sometimes things need to be destructed, but not necessarily in a destructive manner.
A respected businessman and executive at an assisted living facility, Timothy spent his days caring for the elderly and lifting up people fighting their own battles. That's what made the morning of March 25th, 2023 so impossible to comprehend, because on that day, every step forward Timothy had taken, every life he had touched, every promise he had made to himself, came to a sudden and devastating end. And by the time the news broke, the entire community of Ocala, Florida would be left searching for answers.
On the morning of March 25th, Marion County Sheriff's deputies found Timothy's body in his home in the Citrus Park neighborhood.
I never thought anything bad would happen. I don't think anyone thinks bad things would happen to your family or your friends or, anyone you know.
It was just as hard for his sister, Sandy Riles, to accept as they lost her mother just months prior.
And then for him to, something to happen to him, it's just been devastating.
In a one-on-one interview about the case, Lieutenant Paul Bloom described Timothy's murder as brutal.
The level of violence done to the victim from the body that they saw was certainly appalling.
Saturday, March 25th, 2023. It's a pleasant 76 degrees in Ocala, Florida, and by outward appearances, everything was calm. Except for one man. 55-year-old Herbert Swilley, a local handyman with a habit of keeping close tabs on his world, called police to report he hadn't seen his spouse in almost 2 days, and he was worried. Minutes later, Marion County deputies were dispatched to the 1900 block of Southeast 40th Street for a welfare check.
We called in because my other half haven't seen since late Thursday night when we went to bed. He didn't show up for work yesterday. They've called, they've texted. Everybody's called and texted. We don't actually live here. This is his secondary apartment that he uses for his massage studio and other stuff. But his Jeep's been here, the girl's now saying, for almost 2 to 3 days. It hasn't moved, and we can't get a hold of him. We've called, y'all did a wellness check yesterday. They couldn't go in because I don't have a key, so they told me to get a hold of the landlord. He actually has a key. Okay. But they told us not to go in since I'm not legally on the lease or anything.
Okay.
So.
What's his name?
Timothy Floyd Smith. But it's not like him because normally he's the executive director at the Brookdale Shambrel Prank Castle, so he's very responsible about it. That's his job. He does everything.
5631.
5631.
And that's his wife.
Go ahead and start medics this way. Yeah. What is it, C?
Yep. Yeah.
Herbert told the deputy that he and his spouse shared a primary residence and a rental unit 5 minutes away, the apartment about to be checked. The afternoon before, after learning Timothy hadn't shown up to work and wasn't answering calls or texts, Herbert drove to the apartment and spotted Timothy's car outside. He requested a welfare check then, too, but without a key or any visible signs of emergency, deputies had no grounds to force entry. This time, the landlord is here and has provided a key.
Sheriff's office.
As the deputy walked through the apartment, he discovered the lifeless body of Timothy Smith inside a bedroom. Timothy was wearing only a tank top and appeared to have ligature marks around his neck, along with visible injuries to his face and groin area.
Go ahead.
Cancel medics. Signal 7.
10-4, signal 7.
Yeah. Is he okay? So he's in there, he's not okay?
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, they would have been here last night if I hadn't given out the wrong phone number. I didn't give them Jack's phone number for the landlord because I have it in as Jack in Ocala with an L. So I thought it was Jack for landlord, and it's Jack of AA that we saw at our retreat. And I gave him that number, and he called me this morning and said, Herbie, I'm not Jack's landlord, so why are you calling me? And I'm like, oh my God, I said. So I've been scrolling through it. It took me 45 minutes to find his number, and I had to find it via text. I've got to call Kevin. Kevin's the only.
When's the last time you saw him?
I went to bed on Thursday night, and I go to bed about 9:30. He finishes doing his medication. I would say about 11, I heard him get up. But that's not uncommon because he gets up and he'll go do Facebook posting for this stuff called Thrive, and he'll just relax and stuff, but I assumed he was still home, to be honest with you. I got up my regular time, 4:40. I went straight to the gym like I normally do, the Planet Fitness. I came home very quietly, because if he's asleep, I try not to wake him, because he doesn't have to be to work until 8 or 9. So I went in, took my shower. I left with my work trailer to go to work. I got back because I picked up all the materials, and before I went to the Villages, I figured I'd stop back by the house because I had forgot to get a change of clothes. So I stopped back by the house real quick. I went in, the bed was unmade. He wasn't in the house.
You're saying stop by the house, not here?
No, my house, because we
Where's
don't live
that
here.
at?
We live at is our physical house. This is just his
Gotcha.
massage office, our playroom and stuff like that, because that's what this was set up for, so that way we could host parties occasionally, because we have a 20-year-old daughter and he didn't want to do it at home. And so when I went home, this was out of the garage on Thursday morning before 8. This was not there, so I don't know when he left. And he wasn't there. So I went on to work, and at 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, I got a phone call from Tammy Warner at Brookdale and said that they have not seen Tim or heard from him. They've been texting all day. So that's when I told her about the apartment.
What time was that?
That was at around 4
p.m.?
Yeah. So then I drove over here. I saw the Jeep here, so I knocked on the door and everything. And no answer, no nothing. I called the sheriff's department, and they told me not to go in since I'm not on the lease. So I went on and did that.
What, 4 o'clock? I mean, interrupt you. 4 o'clock yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yesterday.
And you haven't seen him since Thursday?
Well, since I went to bed, because once I go to
Right.
sleep, I don't hear anything, because I take a couple of sleeping pills and stuff. Because
So Thursday he was at the house at 26th Court.
Yep.
Thursday morning.
He was not. Because when I went back
So
there,
you're talking about, you mean Friday morning?
well, yeah, Friday. Sorry,
Okay.
Friday morning. Sorry, Friday morning. Yeah, getting confused because just kind of, yeah, Friday morning, which would have been yesterday morning. And then this morning I've texted him several times. We've had everybody calling and texting him all day and everything.
All right, so our major crimes detectives will probably have to come out and take over the investigation. Standard procedures.
Stay out here then.
Yeah, they're going to need to talk to you. They're going to ask you pretty much the same questions I asked, but they might ask a few more.
I know.
At this point, the deputy was no longer dealing with a routine welfare check. It was a violent homicide. But exactly what happened inside that apartment was far from clear. Oddly, outside of the trauma to the victim, the detective observed no obvious signs of a violent struggle in the apartment. After alerting Major Crimes, he broke the news to one of Timothy's longtime friends and coworkers, then briefed a responding sergeant.
How do you know?
Tim and I have been friends for we work together. We've just worked together in the medical field forever. We've been close friends with Herb and Tim for 10 years or longer. He's really dead?
Yes, ma'am. They rent this place as a massage party playroom. Him and his husband over here. Because they don't want their daughter seeing their activities. There's a bunch of sex swings and bondage type stuff. He's on the floor. All he's got is his shirt on and his shoes. And this is, I don't know if it's a burn or like some type of asphyxiation and stuff. Sexual erotic. Yeah, but his phone, I can't find his phone. I don't see any keys. His truck's here. He's been here since Friday morning at some point. That's fine. Yeah, okay. So the landlord came because he didn't want to.
The landlord being the one that's renting this thing out?
Yeah.
Did he
gave me the key.
Guy?
Yeah. He rents it to them. First time he met them was like a week ago because they usually
rents it to the husband and the
husband.
Or one of them in here, or just some random dude?
So this is husband who rents this place.
But who's the landlord then? Landlord here?
No, he ran. He's coming back. He doesn't know. Like I told him, there's somebody's gonna need to talk to him, but I didn't think he needed to. All he did was show up today and give me a key. He hasn't seen him since.
How come this
That I don't know. I haven't gotten to that part.
According to court transcripts, Herbert and Tim had known each other for years. When they first met, Herbert was married to a woman and raising a young daughter. After that marriage ended, he and Tim eventually became romantically involved. By 2023, the two had been legally married for nearly 8 years, living together with Herbert's 19-year-old daughter, Jordan. Herbert also told deputies the couple had an open relationship and that Timothy often used the rental property to host parties with people he met on social media apps. That detail changed everything. Suddenly, the suspect pool wasn't limited to the household. Timothy's killer could have come from inside the home or from the long list of men who had passed through that apartment.
Is this primarily his place? Is that why you didn't have a key?
This is not a primary residence.
No, I mean...
No,
his...
I have a key, but my daughter thinks he took it off the key ring at the beginning of the week because when he goes and plays, he wants the key, so that way he's not over here using it. So I have a key, but I think it's with his stuff here.
Okay.
Because when he goes and plays during the week, he takes the key.
Gotcha.
Because he doesn't want me interrupting. And his thing to me tells me I'm doing a massage. So I know what it means and I let it go, and you know, at least the daughter thinks he may have taken the key off the key ring. Otherwise, I lost them because they're supposed to be on a key ring like this. Yeah, it's supposed to be on this, and this piece is not in my key. So this whole assembly on my other truck key, this is gone with my keys. So.
Herbert was questioned briefly at the scene, then released. Timothy's body was transported to the medical examiner for autopsy. Inside the rental, one detective noticed a strong chemical odor: bleach. A luminol sweep lit up the scene, returning a presumptive positive for blood. Detectives also spoke with Jordan. She said she'd been home the night Timothy was last seen and noticed nothing unusual, but recalled her father later claiming Timothy had abruptly left the house late that night, contradicting what Herbert told deputies. She also mentioned driving him to the apartment after the first welfare check. He never knocked on the door. The autopsy ruled Timothy's death a homicide caused by neck trauma, ligature asphyxia, and a fractured cervical spine. Toxicology was still pending. Armed with what they had, detectives reached back out to Herbert to clarify his timeline.
So much for calling me back.
Yes. I just want to let you know that real quick. I have a friend of mine, Susie, sitting here with me, so that way I have somebody that can kind of make sure I don't mess up on everything and get more confused than I am today, okay?
No, that's fine. That's fine. What I wanted to verify with you was, I know before you told me that you went to Helen's house around 8 or 8:30. This is all on Friday. And then you went to Susan's house a little bit just before 10. When you went to...
Well, actually, I finished up there around, because I left there around 10-something, so yeah.
Okay. And then you came back home around 11, right?
Sometime close to 11 I got here, because I know that once I got here, then me and Jordan decided to go eat lunch at Ivy on the square.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You went home, then you went to lunch. What time did you go to Lowe's? Or I'm sorry, which one? Because I have that you went to Planet Fitness and Lowe's. What time did you go to Planet Fitness?
Actually, I went to Planet Fitness around... Well, I wake up around 4:40, so it's close to 5, somewhere around 5 that I get there, and I'm there for about an hour, and then I come back home.
Okay, so you were there around 5?
And then, and then there was one thing we forgot.
Okay.
Because I have a thing for that. When I went to Lowe's, and they didn't have what I needed, so then I continue on to the public landfill, and I got to the public landfill at 7. So I did dump my truck and stuff out and all that I had to take care of, and then I came back home, and that would have been sometime right after 7 that I got back here because I had to have enough time to go in there, do that, come back in, and that's when I woke Jordan up to make sure she was ready for the dog groomer that was going to be here at the house between 8 and 8:30.
I think that covers it for now. I'm sure that we'll be in contact again just with anything else that we need to, anything that comes up that we want to clarify with you. But I believe that covers it for now. So I do appreciate you taking the time to return my call.
Real quick before you go, we have some follow-up questions. One of which is the most obvious question is Herb currently a suspect in something?
Obviously, we're in the beginning stages of the investigation at this point. I can't answer that for sure. I'm just assisting Detective Pinder, so he would be a better point of contact for that. But we're just trying to run through every option at the moment right now and just trying to gather as much intelligence as we can.
Detectives, already suspicious of possible cleanup activity inside the apartment, privately questioned the timing of the landfill visit and why it was not initially disclosed to them. Additionally, police records show the lead detective later reviewed body camera footage from the second welfare check and observed what he believed was a lack of emotional reaction from Herbert to the news that Timothy had died.
Yeah. Is he okay? So he's in there and he's not okay?
Yeah. Sorry, Herb.
Well, they would have been here last night if I hadn't given out the wrong phone number.
The detective found Herbert's behavior noteworthy, though grief and shock affect people differently, making demeanor a highly subjective indicator. One detail stood out, though. Herbert had mentioned visiting the landfill the day before Timothy's body was discovered, so investigators asked him to bring Timothy's Jeep to the sheriff's office, hoping to pull data from its onboard system. Herbert agreed at first, but by March 28th he'd lawyered up and gone silent. The Jeep was eventually towed, but oddly yielded no usable data. Behind the scenes, detectives were quietly zeroing in on Herbert. Still, much of the case remained circumstantial as they worked to piece together Timothy's final days. Meanwhile, Herbert grieved publicly. He launched a GoFundMe that raised over $2,000, ostensibly for funeral costs and a celebration of life. And in August, on what would have been their wedding anniversary, he posted a tribute on Facebook which read, "I just want to wish you happy anniversary. To my very loving husband, I miss you every day and wish you were here. Life isn't the same without you." Investigators took notice. That same day, Herbert was officially named a suspect. But one question still hung over the case. Were detectives uncovering a carefully staged homicide, or building a circumstantial case around a grieving husband whose behavior simply didn't add up? The answer came on November 3rd, 2023. Nearly 8 months after Timothy's body was found, Marion County deputies made their move, and loved ones finally felt a small measure of relief.
I just started crying and thanking Jesus because there's been so many prayers going up that we get justice for Tim.
Sandy Riles is breathing a sigh of relief after getting a call from Marion County deputies telling her that Herbert Swilley was arrested for the murder of her brother, 59-year-old Timothy Floyd Smith, who was married to Swilley. In March, deputies found Smith's body at an apartment the couple shared in Ocala. The investigation found that Smith had been drugged, beaten, and choked to death.
I mean, my brother's not a small person, or wasn't. He was tall, and he was strong, and I can't imagine what he went through, and it breaks my heart to think of it. That's the worst part.
Investigators believe Swilley took Smith's body from their home to an apartment they also shared and staged a fake crime scene and then tried to destroy evidence with household cleaners.
Initially, Swilley kind of feigned cooperation with us, gave us a lot of conflicting statements about what happened, about his involvement with Mr. Smith's death, and even about what he was doing the night that Timothy was murdered.
Deputies pieced the details together by looking at nearby surveillance video, tracking the various locations of Smith's cell phone, and then talking with people who knew them. Riles says her brother and Swilley had been together for 13 years. She says after her brother's death, she didn't even get a phone call from Swilley and had to call him after hearing the news on Facebook. It was the first of many red flags.
Just from the first initial conversation I had with him, he changed his story in that conversation 3 times.
Deputies say there had also been a history of domestic abuse, that Smith had been previously abused by Swilley, and that Smith was trying to leave the relationship just before his murder.
Herbert Swilley was ultimately charged with first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. Given the severity of the allegations, a judge ordered Herbert held without bond while prosecutors prepared their case. More than 2 years after Timothy Smith's death, the case against Herbert Swilley finally arrived in a Marion County courtroom. In its opening statement, Assistant State Attorney Amy Berndt argued Herbert Swilley carried out a calculated killing and then attempted to stage the scene to mislead investigators. She told jurors the evidence would show Timothy was heavily sedated, killed at the couple's primary residence, and his body later moved to the rental apartment. Attorney Berndt also previewed the state's motive theory. Timothy, she explained, was the household's primary breadwinner, while the relationship itself had become increasingly strained due to allegations of abuse. She added that Timothy had recently interviewed for a new job in DeLand and was preparing to leave Herbert behind.
So things got worse, time went by, and the defendant had to face some cold, hard facts. It's the end of March now. He knows Tim's leaving him. Tim's moving to another city to get a new job. And he can't support himself without Tim. He's mad. He feels cheated. He thinks Tim owes him. And he's not going to let Tim leave him like that. So to the defendant, there was only one option. Tim had to die. Because that would solve all his problems. Because Tim had a life insurance policy worth $333,000. Tim also had a 401 retirement plan with $48,000 in it. And guess who was the beneficiary of both of those things? The defendant, Herbert Swilley. $381,000 surely would go a long way for the defendant once Tim was dead.
A key piece of the state's timeline came from surveillance footage reviewed by Detective Pinder. According to prosecutors, Timothy's phone showed no movement for about 4 hours after he was last seen alive, then suddenly began traveling away from the couple's primary residence. At that exact moment, a vehicle resembling Herbert's truck was caught on camera leaving the area. To prosecutors, this wasn't a coincidence. It was evidence that Timothy was already dead and that his body, along with his phone, was being moved to stage the scene at the rental apartment.
Before I play States 31, can you describe, using the map, States 44, the path of travel that we're going to see the vehicle take?
The path of travel is going to be this way, which is northbound, up this road here.
And what is the timestamp of the video that we just looked at?
1:59 a.m.
Is that consistent with the geolocation data on the victim's phone showing the phone beginning to travel around 1:58?
Yes.
Another camera angle. What's the time stamp of this one?
1:59 a.m.
Based on the timing and direction of travel, is the surveillance footage consistent with the victim's phone leaving the house and traveling in the direction of the apartment?
Yes.
Along with the pickup truck?
Yes.
Investigators also focused on Herbert's behavior in the hours after Timothy was last seen alive. Some of the most important testimony came from inside Herbert's own household.
Good.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Hello.
I just need to make sure that you speak up so everybody can hear you talking to the microphone. Can you tell the jury your name?
Jordan Swilley.
How old are you, Jordan?
22.
Now I want to move on to the next day, Sunday, March 26th of 2023. On that day, did you learn that Tim's death had been ruled a homicide?
Yes.
How did you find out?
I believe my dad told me.
And did you and your dad start getting rid of Tim's things on Sunday?
Yes, I believe so.
And how did that happen? How did that start?
He had just said that he wanted to start cleaning stuff up.
So it was your dad's idea?
Yes.
And what sort of things were you and your dad throwing away?
I believe it was like clothes and stuff. I can't remember exactly.
All right. Did you throw away any of his like snacks and medications and vitamins that were in the kitchen?
Yes.
All right. And you said clothes. What about knickknacks and little beach things that he had?
Probably, yeah.
All right. And what about some portraits that were on the wall that were professionally taken of you and Tim and your dad? Did those get taken down?
Yes.
Who took those down?
I believe my dad.
Okay. And they were going to get thrown away as well?
I'm not sure if they got thrown away or not.
Okay. They were taken down, though?
Yes.
Now, right around the time that Tim was killed, did your dad get rid of a large area rug that was in one of the living rooms when you walk in the front door?
Yes.
Okay. And why did your dad tell you he got rid of it?
Because the dog's peeing on it a lot.
Because the dog's peed on it a lot?
Yes.
All right, I want to move on to the next day now, which is Monday, March 27th of 2023. That morning, did your dad ask you to help him get Tim's Jeep to the Marion County Sheriff's Office the next day?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And what did he want you to do to help him to get the Jeep there?
I believe follow him.
Okay. So he asked you to follow him. He was going to drive the Jeep, you would follow him, and he would drop the Jeep off at the Sheriff's Office?
Yes.
Did you agree to help him with that?
Yes.
Later that Monday evening, did you help your dad clean the Jeep?
Yes.
Okay, and how did that happen?
I can't remember exactly. It said something about wanting to clean it.
Okay. It was his idea?
Yes.
Okay, and where did you go?
To AutoZone.
An AutoZone in Ocala?
Yes.
All right, what did you get at the AutoZone?
Some type of cleaning stuff.
And where did you and the defendant or your dad clean the Jeep?
At the house, I believe, in the garage.
In the garage at the house that you lived at?
Yes.
Okay. And the next morning, that Tuesday, did you follow your dad to the Sheriff's Office to take the Jeep?
No.
Okay. Now, after Tim died, did your dad ever tell you that he needed more money or the life insurance from Tim?
Yes.
Okay. How many times did he say that?
I feel like quite a few.
Quite a few times? All right. What would he say?
I can't remember exactly. It was just different times. It would be like, we just need to get the life insurance money or something.
All right. Did he ever talk about the mortgage on the house, if he could afford that without the life insurance?
Yes, I don't think he could afford it without it.
All right. And after Tim died, did a man named Kevin move into the house with you and your dad?
Yes.
Okay, and who's Kevin?
Their friend.
A friend of Tim and your dad's?
I believe so, yes.
All right. And where did Kevin sleep?
I believe in the main room.
In the main room with your dad?
Yes.
All right.
Prosecutors then turned to the state of Herbert and Timothy's relationship behind closed doors. Friends described growing tension inside the marriage and troubling comments they claimed Herbert had made long before Timothy's death.
Have a seat. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you please tell the jury your name and spell it?
Diane Deluski, D-I-A-N-E, Deluski, D-Y-L-E-W-S-K-I.
Thank you. Are you currently employed?
Sometimes, part-time.
Okay. What do you do part-time?
Family attorney.
In May of 2022, did you hire the defendant to do some work on a shed at your house?
Yes.
Was he a handyman?
That's what he said.
Did the work he was doing at your house require him to come to your house more than one time?
Yes.
Right. Approximately how many times did he come to your house?
I want to say 3. He worked on the shed and then he did a fence around it, and I think that was another day or 2.
Now, while he was at your house, did the defendant talk about Tim or his relationship with Tim?
Yes.
Right. And how was the defendant's demeanor when he would talk about Tim or their relationship?
Horrible. Screaming, arms flailing, red in the face, I'm going to get back at him, he's an effing... And I just kept walking away because Tim was a friend of mine, but I still heard what he said.
All right. So obviously he was very angry, as you've described.
Yes.
What sort of things you said, I'm going to get back at him? What other sort of things did he say about Tim or the relationship?
One of the things that sticks out in my mind is that he said that early in the relationship, he supported Tim. Tim was a lazy SOB, and he owes me, and I spent all this money, and I bought the house, and I did this, and he owes me.
Talking about Tim owes the defendant?
Yes.
Okay. And did he talk about that he had to support Tim at some point in their relationship?
Yes.
And you described that in a very angry tone. Is that how the defendant was saying those things about Tim?
Yes.
Now, what would you do when the defendant started to talk about Tim and their relationship?
Most of the time I would walk away, but sometimes I would engage a little bit. I would say things like, well, Tim always had a really good job. Why were you supporting him? Oh, Tim didn't work. He was lazy. But I'd always known Tim to have a good job.
So you would try to shut it down, but sometimes
Sometimes it would keep going.
And did this happen every time he came to work on the shed or do the fence?
Yes, every time.
In its opening statement, the defense focused on what it believed was the biggest problem with the state's case. Despite months of investigation, where was the direct evidence linking Herbert Swilley to Timothy's murder? There was no eyewitness, no confession, no known murder weapon, no publicly disclosed DNA evidence placing Herbert in the act of killing Timothy, and no video of the killing itself. The state's case, they argued, was largely circumstantial, built on interpretations of behavior, timelines, and forensic opinion rather than direct proof. The defense also suggested that detectives had focused too narrowly on Herbert while overlooking others connected to the apartment. One name surfaced repeatedly during trial as a potential alternate suspect, James True, whose DNA was found inside Timothy's rental unit.
What happened with you and James True's marriage?
It ended in divorce.
Why?
Because he had the second that I knew about extramarital affair with a same-sex partner and lied about it while drunk.
Okay. And did the divorce process go smoothly?
No, sir, it did not.
Why not?
Per our prenuptial agreement, James had 30 days from the date of divorce to vacate the property. In those 30 days, he did significant damage to my premarital home. He punched holes in walls. He took a crowbar to my locked bedroom door to gain entry to it and me. Thankfully, I was not present. He broke every camera in my home. He vomited and defecated in the bed in the bedroom in which he was staying, and more.
Did he threaten you with any violence?
So previously, he had physically assaulted me. I had bruises all over my body. I got a restraining order. I stayed married to him because he agreed to go to inpatient alcohol treatment, which he completed, but it was unsuccessful. He went back to drinking pretty quickly thereafter, but he did do additional treatment programs, again, unsuccessful, I think about 6 in the course of our 18-month marriage. And after that destruction to my home and property, that physical violence, him threatening to kill me multiple times, I was granted a second restraining order. He violated that restraining order when the police picked him up. His father had called the police to state his whereabouts, and his father told the police and me, and it's captured on body cam, that James had threatened to kill me and kill himself. He was charged with an aggravated stalking third-degree felony. This past Friday, he accepted adjudication of that charge and a plea.
Investigators said they had looked into James True as a possible suspect, but ultimately concluded the evidence pointed more strongly to Herbert Swilley. Still, some of the most damaging testimony for the defense came from Herbert's own daughter, who described what prosecutors argued amounted to being instructed to lie.
Now, the next morning, that Friday, what time did you wake up?
Probably like 9, I think. I'm not sure exactly.
All right. And who was at the house when you woke up?
My dad.
Did you ask your dad where Tim was?
Yes.
Okay. What did he say?
I think he had said he was at work or something already. I don't remember exactly.
Okay. He said he was at work?
Hold on. I believe one of the jurors couldn't hear you. Can you repeat your last answer?
I think he had said he was at work, but I'm not exactly sure. I can't remember that very well.
Did your dad ask you if you heard anything that night?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you say when your dad asked you if you heard anything that night?
I told him yes, I had.
All right. Did you tell him what you heard?
I can't really remember exactly what I said to him.
You told him you heard something?
Yeah.
Okay. And what did he say when you told him you heard something?
I'm trying to remember. Sorry.
It's okay.
I think it was just something along the lines that saying to me that I hadn't heard it or something.
Okay. Would it refresh your recollection to look at your grand jury testimony?
Yes.
Hold on 1 second. You're talking too low, so some of the jurors can't hear you. Can you repeat that last question and answer it again? Thank you.
All right. And what did your dad say to you when you told him you heard some noise?
He had said something, I can't remember exactly along the lines of that I hadn't heard it or...
Would it refresh your recollection to look at your grand jury testimony as to what your dad said when you told him you heard it?
Yes.
All right. And for the record, I'm going to refer defense to the grand jury testimony November 14th of 2023, page 35, line 2. Your Honor, may I approach?
Sure.
And just read this to yourself. This is page 35. Let me start right here at the top and then go to 7. 1 through 7. Okay, does that refresh your recollection?
Yeah.
Okay. What did your dad say to you when you told him that you heard a noise the night before?
To say that I was sleeping and I hadn't heard anything.
All right. So did he also say that's all you need to remember?
Yes.
Okay. So he said you were sleeping, that's all you need to remember?
Yes.
All right. Were you upset after that happened?
Yes.
Okay. Why?
Just because I was confused.
Because your dad said that to you? You were confused?
Yes.
All right. Now, were you awake when your dad went to the landfill that morning?
No, I don't believe so.
All right. Did you help him load anything on his trailer?
No.
After days of testimony, forensic evidence, and emotional witness accounts, both sides rested. Prosecutors framed the case as a calculated, financially motivated homicide followed by a cover-up. The defense countered that the state leaned too heavily on circumstantial evidence and never fully ruled out other suspects. Now the jury faced the same question that had followed this case from the start. Did the evidence prove Herbert Swilley murdered Timothy Smith beyond a reasonable doubt? Or were too many questions still unanswered?
My understanding you've reached a verdict, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to have the foreperson hand that to the bailiff. Thank you.
Verdict. We, the jury, find as follows as to count 1 of the charge. The defendant is guilty of first-degree murder as charged in the indictment. So say we all do this 19th day of September 2025.
You decide want the jurors polled.
Yes, Your Honor, please.
In the end, the jury rejected the defense's argument that too many questions remained unanswered. The autopsy findings, cell phone data, surveillance footage, signs of cleanup, and a string of witness statements were enough to convict. At sentencing, the court handed Herbert a life sentence for first-degree murder, closing a case that had gripped Marion County for more than 2 years. What began as a routine welfare check on a quiet spring afternoon had unraveled into something far more complex. a homicide investigation pieced together through timelines, forensics, digital footprints, and the hidden dynamics of a relationship few outsiders ever truly understood.